Welcome to the Rock and Roll Show podcast. I'm your host, Alex Gadd, and this week I'm continuing the Signature Song series. The goal is to answer a deceptively simple question. What's the one song an artist is most known for? I started with Queen, which I assumed had an obvious signature song, but it turned out that they had a few legitimate candidates. So this week I'm going to cover the four acts that I believe have the most clear-cut signature songs of all, the real no-brainers, before getting into the acts where the debate could get heated. That's all coming up right now on the Rock and Roll Show podcast. Before we jump in, let me do a quick recap of what I mean by a signature song. Because it's not always the most streamed song on Spotify, and it's not necessarily the one you or I think is any act's best song. I'm talking about the song that the general public links to that artist first and foremost. A signature song is the one track in any artist's catalog that functions like their calling card. It's the one song that even non-fans can name, the song that's synonymous with that act. It's a sonic fingerprint. And the whole goal of this series is to answer the question, if you asked 100 average people to name one song from any given act, what answer would you hear the most? Now, last week, Queen was my test case. And I went in thinking, no debate, this is easy, it's Bohemian Rhapsody. But once you start pulling at that thread, you realize Queen has had multiple songs that could credibly wear that crown, and it took more than a few minutes to get to the best answer, which still was Bohemian Rhapsody. And that's going to happen a lot in this series. Some acts have a signature song that's obvious to the general public. Some bands have 2 or 3 songs that will take some work to come up with a final answer. There will be others that have a bunch of great, impactful songs, and no one of them stands above the others to become their signature song. I'll get into all of those in the coming weeks, but today is different. I wanted to get some of the easiest, most unambiguous ones out of the way all at once, and so this episode will cover 4 bands where the signature song is so clear-cut that there really should be no debate. These are truly no-brainers. And yes, there are definitely other artists who will fall into this category as well, and we'll touch on them down the line, but I wanted one episode that clears the palette, because once we move past these 4 bands, we're heading into the fun stuff, the coin flips, the generational split decisions, and the deeper debates. Most acts going forward are going to get their own episode because the debate is the point. But today I'm knocking out 4 that are as close to unanimous as rock music gets. Sound good? Cool. Let's get into it. I'm starting off with the most obvious signature song, and that's Stairway to Heaven. It's one of the most iconic songs in rock and roll, period. So calling it Led Zeppelin's signature song is almost impossible for me to come up with an argument against, even though they've got a catalog full of all-time great songs. And just like Queen last week, I'll tell you up front, Stairway isn't even close to my personal favorite Zeppelin tune. My top 5 are these. At number 5, it's Thank You from Led Zeppelin 2. I love that song. I put it in my top 10 songs of gratitude episode a while back for a reason. It's thoughtful, it's quiet, it's almost the anti-Zeppelin Zeppelin song, and I really do love it. Number 4 is Fool in the Rain from 1979's In Through the Outdoor. Now, I was 10 when that album came out, and it was the first Zeppelin album I ever bought, so it's got a permanent place in my heart. And Fool in the Rain is one of their most radio-friendly late-career tracks. I love Bonzo's shuffle on it, and I love how the lyrics tell a really relatable human story, far away from the band's epic, mythical thing. In the 3 spot, it's Tangerine from Led Zeppelin 3. It's Zeppelin doing a breakup song without theatrics, again, no thunder or anger, just a guy remembering what he lost, and trying to hold on to it with some level of appreciation despite the sadness of that loss. And then they used it in Almost Famous, the movie, and it was so perfectly done, it really reinforced my appreciation for this song. Number 2 is In the Evening. It's also from the In Through the Outdoor album. Even late in the game, they could still write a track that absolutely stomps. Maybe not as hard as Immigrant Song, but it's still stomping. And again, it's on my formative Led Zeppelin album, so it's very close to my heart. Finally, my all-time favorite Zeppelin song is Over the Hills and Far Away from Houses of the Holy. It's got that quiet, loud, quiet dynamic, just like Stairway, without being Stairway. Plus, in high school, my buddy Jeff Vacassian taught me how to play it on guitar, which means I can get to it whenever I want. Thanks so much, Jeff. But my favorites aside, Stairway to Heaven is really the only choice here. It's been a cornerstone of classic rock radio for decades. It's been on more greatest songs countdowns than almost any song I can think of, and it's become so woven into the culture that it's kind of turned into a cultural meme, like the whole no stairway at Guitar Center thing.
Hey! No stairway. Denied.
Now, maybe it's not as omnipresent as it was when I was a teenager in the 80s, but even if the exposure's been turned down a little, the association hasn't changed. When the general public thinks of Led Zeppelin, they still think Stairway to Heaven. The second all-time no-brainer signature song is Kiss's Rock and Roll All Night. This one's transcended even the band that wrote it. It's not just a Kiss anthem, it's a rock and roll battle cry distilled into 3 minutes. First recorded for the 1975 Dress to Kill album, it was released as the single from that album in April of 1975, but it didn't exactly set the world on fire. It only reached number 68 on the singles chart. Then 6 months later, with Casablanca Records in trouble and Kiss needing a breakout hit to save their career, and maybe save Casablanca along with it, they put out Kiss Alive and re-released the live version of Rock and Roll All Night as the single. And then it took off. It exploded onto radio and in the charts, got up to number 12. Suddenly, the same song that had been a near miss 6 months earlier became their kick down the door arrival moment. Not long after that, their first 3 early albums went gold retroactively, and they were able to record their next album, which was arguably their most complete and successful studio album, that's Destroyer. They put out 34 singles during the original makeup era between 1973 and 1982. Only 2 of those songs ever came close to the same public awareness. One is Beth, the 1976 ballad that crossed over and became their biggest Hot 100 hit, which peaked at number 7, but that song's kind of faded over time. It's not really played much on the radio, and it's kind of its time. The other one, though, still around, I Was Made for Loving You, that was their disco-influenced 1979 single that, whether Kiss diehards like it or not, has become a streaming monster hit for them, sitting at nearly 1.5 billion Spotify streams as of today. That's more than double the number of Spotify streams for Rock and Roll All Night, but Kiss is the perfect example of why most streamed and signature song aren't always the same thing. If you were to go by streaming numbers, as I said, I Was Made for Loving You is the runaway winner, no contest. But a signature song is the one the general public most commonly associates with the band, and that's still Rock and Roll All Night. Why? Because it's Kiss's mission statement. It's the ultimate sing-along. It's built for arenas, and it's been the big moment in their live show for decades. It's tied directly to the whole Kiss image, the makeup, the pyro, the spectacle. I Was Made for Loving You is a massive crossover hit, and it streams like crazy, but Rock and Roll All Night is Kiss. All right, next up on the no-brainer list is Journey, and this is another of the easiest calls I'll ever make. Because if you say the word Journey to the general public, the song that pops into their head isn't Separate Ways, or Faithfully, or Wheel in the Sky, or Lights, even though all of those are classic hits for them. It's Don't Stop Believin'. And what makes this one so airtight as a signature song is that it's crossed the line from hit single into cultural property. It's not just a song people like, or don't like, but it's definitely a song people know whether they want to or not. It lives in arenas, it lives in bars at closing time, it lives at weddings, graduations, karaoke nights, and 1,000 "we're about to win this game" hype montages. It's become an emotional button in the culture. Press play and suddenly everybody in the room's either lip syncing or singing along. And the genius of this tune is that it's basically engineered to do that. That piano intro is instantly recognizable. Not give it 5 seconds, not wait for the riff. It's instant. Then you've got the story of the lyrics. Small town kids, big time dreams, midnight trains. These are all universal images. You don't need to have lived it to feel it. It's cinematic in a way that makes it easy for the public to connect with. But the real magic trick is the structure. The title phrase doesn't even show up until after the guitar solo, which is more than 3 minutes into this 4-minute song. Journey makes you wait for it as the song builds tension and anticipation. And then when that chorus finally hits, it feels like the ultimate release. That's why it works in a stadium, in a crowded bar. It's not just catchy, it's cathartic. Now, Journey fans can absolutely argue about what their best song is. Wheel in the Sky and Lights are 70s rock standards. Faithfully and Open Arms are classic power ballads that get the lighters and the cell phone lights going in arenas to this day. My favorite Journey song is Stone in Love, which was also on the Escape album that has Don't Stop Believing. Journey has a deeper catalog than a lot of people give them credit for, but for this series, I'm not talking about best or favorite. I'm asking which one song is most commonly associated with the band by the general public, and that's gotta be Don't Stop Believing. It's had this weird second, third, and even fourth life that most songs never get. It didn't just peak when it was released, it kept getting reintroduced to new generations through movies, TV, sports, and the internet. The Chicago White Sox used it as their rallying song on their way to winning the 2005 World Series, leaning into that theme of never giving up. Then in 2007, The Sopranos used it as the song Tony selected on the jukebox in the restaurant in the final scene of the show, where the last scene abruptly cut to black and caused its own cultural uproar. 2 years after that, the show Glee used it as the big number at the end of the pilot episode, and a whole new generation of music lovers latched on and claimed it as their own. Broadway musical Rock of Ages used it as the big finale as well, and in the movie version, that included Tom Cruise singing the song with Mary J. Blige and Alec Baldwin, among others. That's a total mindbender. The point at which there's no question that this song had penetrated the cultural consciousness in a way that transcends rock and roll. And that's why it's a no-brainer. Don't Stop Believin' isn't just Journey's signature song. It's one of the signature songs of American pop culture, and a perfect distillation of everything that Journey is. Finally, another all-time signature song is the Eagles' Hotel California. Of course it is. Acknowledging that the band has had an impressive set of hits only reinforces how dominant Hotel is in their songbook. Take It Easy is basically the sound of 70s California rock. Life in the Fast Lane captures the pure 70s rock and roll excess. And both Heartache Tonight and The Long Run were big radio hits from their last studio album in 1979 before their breakup. But when you're talking about the song that's most commonly associated with the band by the general public, Hotel California is the one song that rules them all. Because Hotel California isn't just a hit song. It's a mythology unto itself. It's got that eerie opening, desert at night vibe that pulls you into this weird place where everything is seductive and wrong at the same time. Even if you've never sat down and analyzed it, you hear it and you see it. Headlights, heat, long, dark road, the neon glow of trouble. It's often interpreted as a takedown of the LA Dream Machine, but it's become so much more, and that's part of why it became the Eagles' calling card. It plays like a short film. It has characters, it has a setting, it has a plot, it has a twist, where it delivers one of the most famous lines in rock history. You know the one. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. It's also built to be unforgettable. That intro is instantly recognizable. The clear, winding acoustic guitar that sounds like you're hearing it at night through a light breeze. Then the drums kick in and it just cruises. Not in a boring way, in a hypnotic way. It's got that perfect Eagles polish where everything is smooth on the surface, but there's definitely a tension underneath. And then, of course, there's the ending, the dual guitar outro. One of the most familiar solos in rock history, and not because it's fast or flashy. It's because it's melodic and thoughtful, with Joe Walsh and Don Felder playing complementary lines and harmonizing the big ending. It feels like the song's final scene, where the camera pulls out and you realize there's not going to be a positive resolution. The characters in the song are trapped. The outro is so iconic that plenty of people who don't even know the verses well still know that part. It's a hook unto itself. Culturally, Hotel California has been unavoidable for decades. It's classic rock radio royalty. It's one of those songs that never really left the rotation because it doesn't sound like a fad. It's more like a landmark. And it's the song that even people who don't like the Eagles, like me, will begrudgingly admit that it's kind of undeniable. So yeah, if you want to debate best Eagles song, I'm here for it. If you want to tell me your favorite, I'm all ears. My favorite's On the Border from the 1974 album of the same name. But if you ask the general public what song they most associate with the Eagles, it's Hotel California every time. Right? All right. Well, what do you think? Do you disagree with me about any of these four band signature songs? If so, I want to hear about it in the comments. And if you have a good argument for a different song, let me know. And I'd be happy to invite you to come on a future episode so that we can debate it. Because that's why I'm doing this, to have fun discussing great music. And I've got more than 100 other acts to get through. So if you like what you heard today, I'd appreciate it if you would like and either subscribe or follow this channel to make sure you get notified about each new episode. And please tell your friends. Also, a reminder that I release a playlist for every episode, so look for the Rock and Roll Show podcast playlist on Spotify and Apple Music every week. This week featuring all of the signature songs I've discussed, a playlist which will grow every week, so check that out. Additionally, as I said, I want to know what you think. Please leave me a comment. I'll try to respond to every one of them. The Rock and Roll Show podcast is a World Highway Media production. I'm your host, Alex Gadd, and until next time, remember that life is short, so get those concert tickets.